That simple question, what on earth is going and what will resolve things in Stormont?
Well, Northern Ireland is always simultaneously very complex and also quite straightforward. So there are some straightforward challenges we face at the moment. Firstly, that the DUP, the Democratic Unionist Party, they've been expressing problems and concerns with the protocol for quite some time now. They did so over a year ago from a position of being in this Assembly, but the government at the time over here in Westminster didn't really engage with those concerns and ignored those concerns, and they got more and more fractious about it until they came out of the Assembly. And now things have got quite dysfunctional because, unfortunately, in the 6 months that we have had since the last set of elections, we've had 3 Prime Ministers, 3 Secretaries of State for Northern Ireland, and no negotiations or progress on the protocol. So all of the fundamentals that underpin peace, prosperity and progress in Northern Ireland just haven't been there. And also a crucial relationship that we don't talk enough about is the relationship between the Irish government and the UK government, which has reached an all-time low in recent months. These are the circumstances that provide the framework for peace and prosperity and progress in Northern Ireland. They haven't been there the last 6 months, so we need to make sure that after we're the other side of these elections, that we make sure we make the most of this the next 6 month period, and not squander it as we've done, or the Tory government have done in the last 6 months.
But it's what becomes more complicated is that, although, as you say, all the issues around the Northern Ireland Protocol, but it's actually also to do with not electing a speaker, isn't it?
No, it is. So the settlement from the Good Friday Agreement established the power-sharing arrangements. The institutions of democracy under the Good Friday Agreement are the Assembly and the Executive. So the Assembly, of course, is all of those people, those MLAs that are elected all across Northern Ireland to form the Northern Ireland Assembly. But then you also have a First Minister and a Deputy First Minister, both of which must come from each community, the nationalist community and the unionist community. And to have the executive functioning, you must have both of those. So what's happened in the last period is that the DUP withdrew from the executive, which meant the executive collapsed. But then we had elections, and the DUP refused to appoint a speaker, which meant that the Assembly couldn't function either. Now, this, of course, is quite dysfunctional. I wish the DUP would go in, because I believe that a politician and a political party has most agency when they're actually in the Parliament they're elected to, or the Assembly, and they execute their politics from there. But I've got to say, I do have some sympathy with the DUP on their own terms when you understand them, because they tried to raise their concerns about the protocol very functionally from within the Assembly, but the government at the time here in Westminster wasn't acting on it. They seemed to look the other way, and things deteriorated until things got very dysfunctional. And then in the last 6 months, of course, we've had the chaos here in Westminster with the Tory government and the changes of Prime Minister and policies, and the crisis made in Downing Street paid by workers up and down the country. So things have just got worse. We can't move forward and expect all the parties in Northern Ireland to move forward on their own. Things only move forward in Northern Ireland when they have the framework for peace, prosperity and progress, and that can only come from the Irish government and the UK government working together, and also right now tackling the protocol too.